Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Other 6 Days podcast, where we chat about life outside of Sundays and what it means to live from our gatherings and not just for them. I'm your host, CJ McFadden, and in this episode, he's back. Pastor Ricky Jenkins joins us again as we engage in a conversation surrounding friendship and discuss the give and take of doing life in relationship with others.
Every man is seen in a New York minute. Ooh. What's up, bro?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's good to have you back, man.
It's good to be back, man. It's good to be at work.
Well, today we're jumping into a topic about friendship, and but before we do, we're gonna get off to some quick insights on your sabbatical and your time away a little. You know, the assumptions, the expectations, the highlights, and then of course the reality.
Yeah,
So,
sure. Yeah.
let's
What a my first sabbatical ever, 3 months.
Yeah.
And man, what a summer, you know? It was overall good because God is good and God works all things for good. It wasn't a rest sabbatical.
Yeah.
So everybody, you know, was the I tell you what the strangest experience of sabbatical is, that every person who talks to me and bumps into me at Costco, oh, we're just praying for brand new, fresh vision, and revelation, and just rest for your soul. And it's just like, yeah, I have none of that. Like, it was a working sabbatical, and then obviously, you know, a lot of folks that know our community know that I lost my dad over the summer.
Yeah.
So it was what a mixed bag of good times and good memories, and some real deep inroads made in the way of my research.
Yeah.
But then, like, man, all of a sudden that coming to a screeching halt when your dad dies, and then you're going back home and you're being with family and all that kind of stuff. Yet, man, you know, when they say when someone you love dies, Romans 8:28 means more to you than it did the day before, and that's the truth.
Wow.
All things work together for good to them that love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. So, man, it's just been a mixture of a lot of deep reflection on the paper and the research, which is about our pastoral residency and how we make that better, and just dreaming about, man, I really want to train 1,000 pastors, and I really want our church to be about this, and I really want to finish this PhD, this doctorate before, you know, I shoot something, and coupled with, man, my dad's gone, and wow, okay, like processing that, and now both my parents are gone.
Yeah.
So that's been a new level of kind of reflection, you know, for me in April. And then the sweetness of April and the kids just really loving on their daddy and encouraging and letting me, you know, sulk a little bit and walking through that. And then the sovereignty of the Lord, right? Like, man, Lord, you were kind to send daddy home while I'm away for 3 months and not in the middle of a crazy work season. And then coming back and realizing, you know, like, two things. One, the church goes on, right? Like, this church didn't miss a beat because of you guys killing it and just the gospel's work. But then coming back and being like, you know, we're us, right? We don't see ourselves as a big deal because we are not. But man, seeing the love and grace from our people has been, it's a little different, right? It's just like, man, I mean, I know you guys love me and I love y'all, but it's just like, man, y'all love me. And are you sure you want to love me like that? You know, so like, just the sweetness now that, you know, I've been in the office for 3-4 days now, the hugs and the conversations, and, you know, that's been very humbling. Yeah. Very honoring, very humbling. And as a counselor of mine said earlier today, it just kind of reminds you that you're home, you know. So that's been, what a summer.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, you are loved definitely by everybody, and we missed you for sure.
Missed you more.
We're so glad you're back. And but what would you say is probably one of the more most memorable like parts on your sabbatical? Like, anything that stands out to you that you were just like, man, that was a really, like, you know, like one of those poignant moments? Yeah,
that's a great question. I think probably so I'll talk about the different sides of it, the family side, and then kind of like the work, the dissertation side. The dissertation side was probably moving from a place. I remember this one. I've been in Scottsdale all summer writing, and you know, the mean, rough and tough streets of Scottsdale, you know, up there. Yeah. There was a day, CJ, where like the first 2-3 weeks are just like, can I write? Yeah. And am I an academic? Yeah. And kind of finally getting past the jitters of talking to my advisor and, hey, do this differently, do that, you know, just getting on the other side of the, like, not trying not to quit because it was so hard, to delving into research and saying, this actually might help somebody. Right? So I just remember a couple of moments in the research where work was completely turned off. That faucet was turned off and academia was truly turned on. And you're reading about mentorship, based on writing a book on mentorship. How do you train a pastor? And there was a moment where it's just like, oh yeah, we need to actually make sure this happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so it moved from project to ministry,
Yeah.
you know, which was sweet. And I really want to give my life to that, you know? So that was a pretty powerful day where you felt like you were writing for God.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now God's got way better writers out there for me, but I felt like that. So that was one day. I think the other day was July 18th. My dad died in the middle of the night, Friday morning, and we got the call. And cried a couple hours, middle of the night, went back to sleep. Got up early the next morning because I just didn't want to be a wreck when the kids were waking up. So I went downstairs. We're on the San Diego Pier. So I'm just walking up and down the pier, calling buddies, calling family members. We're just getting stuff together. And a couple hours later, April wakes up the kids. And they're just walking around, and I'm going to catch them. And that's the moment where we're going to tell our kids that their granddaddy died.
Oh, wow.
And so we all meet and, you know, we gather and we just share, you know, and tell them the news. And, of course, they're just stunned, you know. They weren't as close to my dad. They know, obviously, who their granddaddy is. But my 11-year-old Camden, who's got a big old heart, as I'm telling them, my tears are coming. And when he saw my tears, he started shedding his tears.
Oh,
and he was crying for his daddy.
Yeah.
And that was a really wonderful moment to have with the kiddos and just to go through some life together.
Yeah, walk
as
with
a
them.
family. Yeah, so as weird as I mean, it sounds like crazy highlights from a summer, right?
Yeah.
So there is, you know, it wasn't the all inclusive, and it wasn't the massage on the beach.
Yeah.
It wasn't that kind of summer, but it was still a good summer, even in all that. All things work together for good to them that love God. So yeah,
absolutely. Oh well. Again, we're glad to have you back, and we're glad to get moving on more of these podcasts, and to jump into our topic for today. We're talking about actually segueing into that. We're jumping into friendship.
Yeah.
So the value of friendship. That's what we're talking about. But first, so let's hit on some of the practical joys, the highlights, and benefits of doing life with friends. What does that look like practically?
Yeah, I think practically it is. You know, when we're healthy, the most natural byproduct of physical, emotional, spiritual, mental health is friendship.
Yeah.
Partnership, companionship, community. And so health does not beget some another virtue. We think it does. Culture teaches it that way, right? So if I'm healthy, I can make more money.
Yeah.
I'm healthy, I can, you know, do something on my bucket list. If I'm healthy, I can, you know, teach this course. And all those sort of things of personal achievement. Man, the natural byproduct of being in rhythm with God, rhythm with yourself, and rhythm with emotional, healthy, physical state of well-being is that I can delve that much more deeply and wholesomely into relationships.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think, you know, this kind of comports with this notion, obviously, that we must have been made for it. Maybe that was the end game for creation. The end game for creation was not to simply create more, cultivate, right? When the Lord said that we would have dominion, when he said it was all good, it was when he paired Adam with something more than himself.
Yep.
Someone he could connect to and enjoy and cultivate and have dominion over what God had created.
Wow.
And so even theologically and by design,
yeah,
what God was dreaming for us was not to have a relationship as a boon to other things, but was to have other things as a boon to relationship. So it's the end all be all. Ricky, give me more Bible. I'm glad you asked. When we get to heaven, he does away with marriage so we can all be friends forever.
Yeah.
So when it will be perfect, it will be a whole bunch of billions of friends doing life and eternity together in the fellowship of their Savior. So I think what it looks like, I think if you don't understand what it looks like theologically, you won't care what it looks like practically.
That's
right?
Good. Yeah.
But this is why we have a podcast, so we can talk about theology. The other 6 days. How about that? That just happened.
Yeah.
So I think naturally from 40,000-foot view first, and then come down into where we are.
I like that.
But whoever's listening, I think the point is this: no matter where you are with friendships right now and relationships right now, your default is for that. Mm-hmm. He made you for that. So if you're out of that, get to that as soon as you can. And this is my encouragement in the way of that, because I know that's hard to say when you got some hurt or some betrayal and whatever else is going on in your relationship. This is what I know. I've prayed for this $1.4 billion lottery, and I ain't even got no lottery ticket. And I have heard the Lord say, no. And I've asked, Lord, please let me have a Range Rover and then not look bad on the pastorate. And he has said no. And I said, Lord, please, can I have a little more money for retirement? And he has said, wait. But if I were to pray, Lord, would you give me a sea of healthy friendships that I can do life with good people and serve you better?
Wow.
The Lord doesn't wait on that prayer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's our hope.
Wow.
In that. So.
Oh, I love that so much. Wow. I love how you brought it down. Like, I had thought about just planning for this podcast, moving a different way through it, but I think that sets it up so beautifully, because you can't really engage in all of the things that you want from a healthy friendship without first understanding where it comes from.
That's right.
That's
so good.
No, that's so good.
Amen.
I love that. Wow.
Amen.
Well, we know, like, practically friendships provide, sense of belonging, connection, commonality, shared values and experiences, all that kind of, the practical stuff day in and day out, insight, outside perspective, trust, honesty, accountability. Man, I love, there's those times that you think about, you're like, I don't need any friends, I got everything I need, and, I can kind of do this on my own. And then you realize, man, that feedback loop from someone else to help you, especially the practical help.
Yeah.
And tangible needs, like, come on, moving a couch and preparing a meal. Sometimes when you're down, there's just practical things that you don't realize until you sit down and take inventory, that you realize that that friendships provide, right?
Yeah, we gotta, and I would couple that with this notion. I think you're absolutely right, and I would just couple it with this nuance in the way of feedback being more important than the end product.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is friendship offers journey.
Yeah.
And you've heard the old cliche, the journey is more important than arriving at the destination,
Yeah.
And this is, again, it goes back to theological. And I don't want to be too flighty today. I don't want to be too in the clouds. I don't want to be a doughy-eyed cloud dweller. But I think if we can think more theologically about the practical, it helps us delve more deeply into the practical. And what I mean by this is heaven is not going to be a destination.
Yeah.
Heaven will be an eternal journey, an eternal rhythm, an eternal practice of knowing God and knowing others. So because it's eternity, there's nowhere to arrive. You're just experiencing it.
Yeah.
And I think when I love what you said, the feedback loop, as I'm doing marriage, as I'm raising kids, as I'm working, as I am either contending with the government or loving the government, as I'm thinking about world events, doing life with people where there's this cyclical feedback loop that speaks into how I'm experiencing those other things, performing therein, makes the process, the end result better, but makes the navigation therein sweeter. This is why God was so kind to give us friendship. So I think you're right. Like the feedback loop, I love that language, by the way. But I think well, my best friend's a guy named Albert Tate, and we've accomplished a lot of things together. But I'm telling you, the things that's changed my life is not the things we've accomplished, but the conversations we've had on the road to accomplishment.
Yeah, that's so true.
It's not the children we've raised.
Yeah.
It's the vent sessions we've had and given room for on our way to raising children. Wow. What we relish in, what we glory in, is not the things we got done, but the connection and sacrifice and love and kindness and accountability that we've enjoyed on the way to those things.
Yeah.
Friendship really is the destination. You know what I mean? And so like that's what you're robbing yourself of.
Yeah.
When you don't do that. So it's not friendship is not a boon to other things. other things are a boon to friendship. And I think when you get that in your soul, when you get that in your spirit, you start to stop and smell the roses of friendship, and relationship and connectivity. So, yeah, I'd love to know who your partners are too in that space, CJ. Albert's the guy. I talk to Albert every day, several times a day, more than likely. And I'm not sure why I have that much time, but I can't imagine not doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, and obviously me and April in matrimony and our friendship and stuff too. And we talk every day, thank God. But like, I can't imagine not having that.
Yeah.
You know, what about you?
Yeah, I've got a group of guys that I touch base with frequently. So one of my discipleship guys is like kind of a confidant, a buddy that I bounce things off of. Mine's a little bit more. I think like I don't have I still am in the search for that one that I go to is a deep well to draw from. Yeah. You know, obviously my wife and Jesus. You know, those are two first and foremost. But I think I have a Young here at the church. He's become a great confidant to me. We talk a lot of theology and some things that really, like, you know, at a soul level are just really, really, you know, beneficial to me and my growth. And I hope it's reciprocated on the other side. Sure. But yeah, I find them in little pockets. And then to be honest, a lot of my golf buddies. Yeah. So absolutely. I'll go out and I found a lot of it in just some touch points that are out. So it's all more of a variety of guys that I can gauge. And as you said, it's a journey. Like we go along, we do life together. We have real life conversations and there's import and export, you know, and within our relationship together. And so good. Yeah, so it's pretty sweet. And then, you know, it's a little bit easier, I think, being in the church environment too, because, you know, touch base with a lot of different people and personalities on staff. But yeah, I realistically, when I look back and take inventory right now, I probably only have about 2 or 3, like, you know, closer guys. So sure. But for me, I am looking for that, you know, that Albert Tate buddy, you know, that like that deep rooted one. That's been one that I've had a few of them in my life, but I'd say they're seasonal. They kind of come and go. And so, yeah, I've had a couple guys who I stay in touch with. Yeah. And we pick up right where we left off. Sure. But, you know, we still have to, I think guys aren't as good about picking up the phone and being like, hey, how you doing? You know?
Well, ladies, if you're listening, especially you ladies who are married, that's why you got to let your husband play golf. Yeah. You know, that's where we become golf are gosh, I'll probably get in trouble for this, but golf are a cigar. Yeah. You know, I'm not saying that you should do that.
For those who do,
For those who do. But there's something about when men get together doing manly things like that. You know, hunting trip and all that stuff, fishing. I don't do all that. But you know what I mean? Like, me and you have golfed several times.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
And we'll go and connect more in those 4 or 5 hours than we can in 6 months, even working together side by side every day. Yeah. And so I think, too, giving yourself the space to be a friend is important. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we kind of touched on, I mean, you started off with some of the biblical illustrations and support we see, you know, for the benefits of friendship through scripture and from a theological standpoint. And so, and I mean, there's so many more. I mean, like you said, the creation of humanity was intended to share fellowship with God. And so, but I mean, Jesus' earthly ministry was filled with friendship, disciples, friend to sinners, all the, you know, all the things, right?
Yes.
So many, but I mean, and you're going to hit on this on a series we're going to end up doing, but David and Jonathan throughout scripture, right?
Yeah. One of the great portraits of friendship in the Bible. Yeah. I'm excited to preach about it. Yeah. And if you've not read that, man, definitely look at 1 Samuel and look at the relationship David has, this shepherd boy turned king, the guy who is supposed to be king someday, sees the hand of God on David's life is the key point. Yeah. Sacrifices his own position so he could love God well and love his friend David well. Yeah. And friends, there's a friend.
There's a friend.
A friend, I love your notes. C.S. Lewis is famous for this quote. A friend is who all of a sudden looks over at you and says, you too. You too. Right? There's a commonality. Something's happened that's the same about us. And so my point is that the biblical portrait of friendship in David and Jonathan is, first things first, Jonathan saw God's hand on David's life and said, I want to be a part of that. Yeah. And I'm willing to do something and sacrifice something to make sure that what God's doing in this guy's life happens. Yep. And that's what friendship is. A friend should look at CJ and say, I see what God's doing in you, and I want to be a part of that. Yeah. And I think biblically, with respect to the gospel, we Christians, that's how we define friendship. So, and David and Jonathan's a wonderful picture of that. And it was tested. And yet, man, Jonathan proves to be the kind of friend that all of us should be trying to be in other people's life. So I think the postmodern, and what I mean by that is progressives, people today, postmodernity. Kevin Van Hooser would say. But I think even the way some of us are hearing this is jilted towards the self.
Yeah.
And that's not how we should hear it. The average person listening to this conversation says, oh, okay, that's what kind of friends I should look for, is people who are going to be like that to me. And that's true.
Yeah.
No, what you should be feeling is, am I somebody's Jonathan?
Yeah.
Am I being the kind of friend who shows up in the person's life to say, man, I see what God's doing and I want to be a part of it? Because here's how it comes back to you. You get back what you put out. So that's why I want everybody to understand that. So people, there was this guy, haven't had this conversation, right? Man, I had this friendship, man. They just left and they were just like terrible attitude. And then I had this other friend that, it just blew up on me. And then I had this other friend and man, it just broke down and you just couldn't understand me. And then I had this other friend and finally the guy says, hey, what's the common denominator in all these relationships? He said, what? I don't know what you mean. He said, it's you. He said, I doubt you had that many bad friends. It's something about you that's not saying what it really is all about. So I just want to encourage us. You really do get back what you put out. Don't hear me say that there's not betrayal. Don't hear me say that there's not stank sometimes.
Yeah.
But me and April are learning that, man, if we put it out there, we get it back. Because we got a different kind of job. And so like when we see people, it's their best day or worst day. It ain't never a normal day. The only reason people want to talk to me is because something really great is going on. Or something really bad. It's never for friendship. Right? And we've noticed that as we try to get to do life with couples. We're like, man, that seems like a cool couple. Maybe our kids are the same age. Let's invite them over. And we'll have a good old dinner and it'll be like, man, that was so fun. Yeah. And then you kind of wait for them to reciprocate and they never do. Yeah. Then we say, well, maybe let's see if they come. And they come over. We have another good time. And it's like, they ain't asked us out, And then we have a counselor, and our counselor's name is Catherine. And Catherine says, well, have you told them you want to be friends?
Yeah.
We said, no. Like we've taken them out to dinner. She's like, yeah, but you're their pastor. He's like, yeah. But she's like, don't you think they think that that's what you do for every couple in the church?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh.
So that's my point. She says, no, you actually have to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And express your intentions that, hey, we know we're your pastors, but it seems like we connect. Maybe we can be friends. And that's been a game changer.
That's a big deal. Wow.
Oh, dude, it changed our lives.
I can't believe that. I'd never even really thought about that.
We hadn't either.
But that's so true. I mean, it's so cliche, but be the kind of friend you want to have.
Right.
And
that's right.
But there's so many, like in relationships, so many unmet expectations in all relationships, but even friendships. So you're hoping for the reciprocation, but not verbalizing your desire, need, or showing up, know. And so it's kind of that's interesting.
We're grown, complex, social media immersed, tribalized moment of culture human beings.
Yeah.
And you have never had to be more intentional and vocal than you do today. It is no longer assumed. It's too much going on. It's too much noise. Mm-hmm. It's too much gets drowned out.
Yeah.
If you want a friendship now, you got to be that dude at the YMCA. Just got through playing ball with this dude. Y'all was on the same team. Y'all had fun and crack some jokes. You got to be the person who says, hey, dog, hey. Yeah. Man, me and some dudes going out, like you got to be that now.
Yeah.
If your couples, you know what I'm saying? Like your kids are playing on the same baseball team, right? You got to be like, hey guys, we just thought maybe y'all would like to hang out. Yeah. Like put yourself out there and you get back eventually what you put out there, but especially people that work in leadership.
Yeah.
I want to encourage that because when you're a leader, you're a leader.
Yeah.
And I've noticed, I'm just going to keep it real. Like I'm learning, and I'm talking to my other pastor buddies, I'm learning how I have to shepherd people in moments I don't think I have to shepherd them.
Yeah.
Because these are my coworkers, these are my people. But I'm learning that, man, I'm their boss. And that's just what they see. And that's not wrong.
Yep.
And I'm learning how I have to set them up to win so it's not awkward.
Yeah.
So I would just learn, okay, I just started noticing, because you know me, CJ, I'm just me. I'm from Pearl, Mississippi. Like, we all know I'm a mess. But like, I've learned when I go into the break room and it's like 6, 7 Southwest staff team in there, and like I'm trying to get the door open and I can just hear, and I walk and say, hey, everybody. Everybody says, hey. And everybody stops talking.
Okay.
And I'm just like, and I'm like, hey,
keep going.
I'm just, you know, and they're like, that's not what we do. What you, and I've just learned, go in for 30 seconds and get the crap out of there so that they can have the time that they need to have in their break room.
Yeah.
And all my roundabout point is this: how much more then do I as a leader have to be intentional to let people know that if they want to be my friend, I want to be their friend. I want to be a friend.
Yeah. And like, hey, let's do this again. I love that, man. I was thinking intentionality as you're saying that. And then going back to even what you're saying, it's not the destination, it's part of the journey.
That's right.
You're like, hey, this is the journey. Right. So, hey, let's do this again. Let's keep this going.
And like we said earlier, God will answer your prayer for friendship.
Yeah.
God will give you a good friend. He will not give you that $1.4 billion.
Yeah.
If he does, if I do get that, I ain't telling nobody.
Well, Ricky will be your friend if you get that. No, so.
Hey, I've told the Lord, I'll give 50% of it to your name, Jesus.
Oh man, we're gonna get in trouble on this again. I forget. I missed this.
So funny.
Well, let's jump in. You know, obviously we've talked about the highs and the joys and kind of the established some groundwork for it. But let's talk about the unfortunate. There's shadow side of letting people in close in our lives. And that can show up in a various ways. So let's kind of let's unpack some thoughts in that area.
Sure.
So
I mean, it's a reality, man. If as long as you and I are broken people, we're gonna have broken relationships. And my encouragement to us is, and I've experienced betrayal. Yeah. I've experienced brokenness. I've experienced pain from the very folks that should have been protecting me. Yeah. So I've been there. At 48, I'm able to look back at dozens of friendships and say, though, that the good far outweighed the bad. Yeah. And that's my encouragement to you too. Don't let one sour note or a few sour notes taint the beautiful music that God wants you to experience in your healthy relationships. And so I think we got to be honest and say it is real, but that is not an excuse to never delve into good friendships. And I think there's those of us who have been hurt, who have used that pain to define relationships instead of define a bad friend. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so I think there's a difference there, and I want to encourage you to put yourself back out there. This is terrible, but like, you know how to get over a bad friend? Get a new friend. Yeah. It's just true. It's just true. I'm borrowing that from the world. You know what they say out there. I ain't doing all that. But it's true. Yeah. It's true. And there's some people who've been hurt by the church, because it's a dumb church. Yeah. Or whatever. But that doesn't define the church. Yeah. How do you get over a bad church? Get a new church. Get a new church. We are broken. There's a reason Christ had to come. Yeah. Because we're broken. Yeah. But gosh, I can't imagine having said no to, there's new friends I have here in this community. Guys like Ashton Davis, Stephen Stewart, obviously CJ McFadden. There's people like Kanji Mbugwa, other folks that are brand new relationships essentially, over the last few years. But I can't imagine having said, because something happened to me back in 2004, that I'm not going to let those guys in. Yeah. The good outweighed the bad. Yeah. So I'm with you there.
Oh, that's so good. I know. Gosh, I know. The saying, those you love the greatest are the ones that can hurt you the most. And so there's always, like you said, a sinful and broken people. And so, we're God's in the business of redeeming. That's right. And we get an opportunity even through those friendships and that to show redemption, to show forgiveness, to exercise those types of things, right? Amen. So that's part of the process.
That's right.
And so,
yeah, and I find that's a good word. And I find that there's somewhat of a, I don't know if this is strong enough to be a symbiosis, and stay with me, but I do notice an intrinsic connection between the connectivity I have with Jesus and the connectivity I have with people. For the person who is reluctant to get back into a friendship, that's more of an indication as to your relationship with God than is your relationship with others. Yeah. And so know that if I've got a reluctance to get back into a friendship or partnership of some level, right, that's saying way less about what that person did to me. And it's way more about what I'm not allowing God to do for me.
Oh, gosh.
So it's always connected.
Yeah.
Right. And again, heaven is me and God and me and you. That's the plan.
Yep.
So don't blame God.
Yeah.
Because it has something to do with my hesitance to let God in.
Yeah.
That's played out by my refusal to let you in.
Yeah.
It's always the same.
Wow.
And I say that because there's a lot of God-loving Christian folk who say, "No, I can't be with people, and people do peopleish things. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that." And what you don't know is that your heart is saying the same thing to God.
Yeah.
Your heart is saying, "I can't let God in. I can't."
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Well, and you're missing out potentially on the opportunity to participate in the things that God wants to do in and through you to show his power and who he is and to reveal himself in some way to that other person. Yeah. So even at that, even if it starts as just something missional to say, you know what, this is how God's called me to show up for others through those things. I found in this some of the sweetest, some of the best and deepest friendships I've ever had is with people that started off the roughest with. I mean, we literally, one of my best friends when I was younger, we got in a fist fight together and we ended up becoming best friends. And that's totally weird, but like it started in the most, like in a way that would probably never unfold, and it did. And God used that in so many ways. And so you just, you never know. So
you look over and say, "You too."
Yeah. You too?
I spent the summer with this great family. They were, God's blessed them with this beautiful house, and they go away for the summer. And man, you may as well study here, and it's perfectly quiet. And it was a blessing. But for like the first 2 or 3 weeks, they were at the house, so we just got to hang out. Now I know them; they're friends, but we became friends doing life together 3 straight weeks, And some would say we're as different as the day is long. Him and his wife, but man, every night going to dinner, every morning getting up to go work out together at their local gym. Man, God has a way of putting people together and creating friendships where you don't even think they're possible. That creates such a seal in the soul. You know what I mean? And then before you know it, though, you have deeper layers of conversation, and you realize, well, we got that in common. 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 And so, like, some of you may be out there listening saying, "Well, yeah, but the only people that I'm kind of around are folks that I would never hang with or would never do this or never." Those may be the very ones that God's going to use to give you. Let me tell you a story. When I I can't believe I said this story years ago, but no one remembers, so I'm going to use it. When I was engaged, me and April getting ready to get married, and I needed to lose like 10 pounds because I had bought this tux. It was on sale, and I just needed to, and I wanted to look good, So I joined this gym around the corner, downtown Memphis. Well, it's got these classes. I'm like, okay, it's got a trainer, it's got this boutique gym. Dude, I walk in first day. It is 7. I'm 34. I walk in, and it's 7 white ladies, all over 70, and me. So I'm like, what in the world is this? And we're doing aerobics and all this kind of stuff. And it was hard. This lady was working as hard. And these old ladies, they were the Golden Girls. They were in shape. Yeah. Bro, after 2 months, we were thick as thieves.
Oh, wow.
Like it was like Golden Girls and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We were one. And I'll never forget, we were doing this one exercise, and I was exhausted. Like I couldn't do it. And I remember just stopping the workout. I said, "No, I'm just going to be fat." And her name was Miss Jeannie. Miss Jeannie was in her 80s. And they literally stopped the tape. And they said, "Ricky, you okay?" I was like, "No, I just can't. I can't. I'm tired. I can't do this." And Miss Jeannie walks over to me, CJ, true story. No hyperbole. She says, "Ricky, honey, you're going to get back in there, and you're going to work out, and you are going to be amazing. And when we get to your wedding, you're going to be up there tall, dark, and handsome, and everybody's going to be staring at your buns." I'm a 30-something-year-old black dude, 80-something-year-old white lady in downtown Memphis.
Yeah.
And that's my friend.
Wow.
So don't let the trappings of where you came from and what you look like stop you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's going to be your bestest friend. So
wow. Oh, that's great. Yeah, because I know we were going to touch on some of the you can find some of the most depth and uniqueness in the diverse relationships potentially. That seem the most unlikely.
That's right.
And so, as you well illustrated.
Yeah. And again, back to theology. We're all going to be friends with Jeannie in heaven. Every last one of us is going to have a very close relationship with Jeannie. Whoever your Jeannie is, we're going to be in heaven together. So practice now on what God is going to perfect later.
That's what I was thinking we're going to participate in forever. Wow.
Amen.
Well, as we start to kind of land the plane on the friendship stuff, like I did want to hit a little bit on the, friendship is found, we talk a lot about it through interpersonal relationship, and it seems more of a one-to-one. But I think one of the best ways that we acquire that or find it sometimes is through community, right? So there's the better together, never meant to do life alone and all those things. But a lot of the times we think of it as me and another person. But I mean, there is something to friendship being a micro expression of the macro expression being community. And so a lot of my relationships I found, joining a men's group or getting involved in something larger and going, hey, there's you too.
That's right. Yeah. I think the application for all of us is how then might I help the church? How then might I allow the church to do, I'm sorry guys, what the church is pretty darn good at. So we ain't great at like accounting, or we ain't great at, math, or we ain't great at physics. By God, we're great at relationships. We're good at community. We know how to bring people together. We throw an event every Sunday.
It's a friend party.
We know what we're doing. You know what I mean? I didn't say we're great at it, but we know how to do it. And what does it mean for you to allow your local church to create easy on-ramps for you to get into community that will create these flourishing friendships? I think that's when Southwest is best, by the way, is when people allow themselves to say, okay, I'll give it a shot. And on the other side of that, I speak of Gary Livingston, who was going through some stuff 3-4 years ago. Maybe I'll talk to the Lord about it. And he comes and God heals him of his wounds and gets him into men's ministry, gets him into serving. And now he's probably one of the faces of Southwest Church. Walked in off the street. And now I'm not sure there's any of us that would put him on our website as a representative of what we're trying to accomplish here. Gary's everybody's best friend. And certain Golden Bachelorette's best friend. But anyways, that's another story for another time.
The church, I mean, we're a community center for godly relationships. So, you can just kind of, and that's why I just wanted to include that, if you don't know where to start, there's a great opportunity to jump into, church and those environments to find the friends you're looking for and to practice being the friend you want to have. So, well, as always, we hope that our conversations are engaging and helpful. Any books, podcasts, resources, anything you want to point people to or anything off the top of your head?
Man, maybe put this in the show notes, but we did, this is years ago, a sermon from Genesis 2 on Adam and Eve and just how when God invented community. So I think that'll help us some with the theology. I'm reteaching that next year. As a matter of fact, I put that in we're doing a relationships series next year called Are We There Yet?
Oh, yeah.
How to navigate relationships God's way. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, nice. Well, there you have it, guys. We'll drop a bunch of stuff into the show notes. We've got a bunch of different articles from the Gospel Coalition, a couple books and some stuff you'll want to check out, as well as the previous sermon message that Ricky was talking about. And then, as always, be sure if you have any questions or anything, let us know. You can contact us at the other 6 days at southwestchurch.com. That's the number 6. Yep. And then check us out on YouTube also if you guys want to watch. We do that. We're on the YouTube broadcasting platform and we do a video as well. So any last thoughts or comments, Ricky, before we wrap it up?
Just one comment that, man, I almost lost it.
Yeah.
Gosh,
I know you got it. Here it is.
In a New York minute. Ooh. That's my last comment.
Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Other 6 Days podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe, follow, share, and like, and spread the word. And as always, take what you've heard and turn it into something you can do to further the gospel and the world around you. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace.